Danielle Scott signed the contract 3 days ago. The one she shouldn't have signed. The one with no client name, just a wire transfer from a Seoul-based law firm and instructions to arrive at the Grand Hyatt by Thursday at 10 p.m. Vague briefs were red flags in her line of work, but the deposit cleared faster than her instincts could object. 40 years of life had taught her one ironclad rule: trust the money, never the people behind it. Now, crossing the marble lobby with her charcoal gray pantsuit and leather portfolio, she wonders if she finally miscalculated. 3 men in dark suits flank a fourth, a younger Korean man in navy brioni, walking toward the glass exit doors with the stiff gait of someone pretending calm. Security detail, her mind catalogs automatically. Except the guard on the left wears his earpiece on the wrong side. The one on the right has Ferragamo loafers, too expensive for operational work. And the third isn't protecting. He's hurting. Danielle stops mid-stride. Calculates. The surrounded man glances sideways at a bellhop, then at the revolving door, searching for an exit that doesn't exist. His jaw tightens. He knows. This isn't security. It's a disguised abduction. She has 2 seconds to decide. Walk away or shatter protocol. Danielle pivots sharply, deliberately clipping a passing waiter's tray. Crystal glasses explode across the polished floor, the sound cutting through corporate silence like a fire alarm. Heads turn. Conversations halt. She bends, picks up a shard, and raises her phone toward the group. "Excuse me," she calls out, voice carrying educated authority with a razor edge of curiosity. "Is this part of the hotel's event protocol?" She tilts her head, letting her gaze sweep over the 3 men with clinical precision. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like a crime. And I work in international compliance." The men freeze. The surrounded Korean turns his head, dark eyes locking onto hers with the expression of someone who just realized he's been given an unexpected lifeline. For a heartbeat, the entire lobby holds its breath. Danielle smiles. Not kind, surgical. 10 seconds, she says calmly, phone steady in her hand. That's what you have to decide if you want to keep pretending, or if he wants to scream. The man on the left moves first, hand sliding toward his jacket. But hotel security is already approaching, drawn by the shattered glass and raised voices. The formation breaks. The Korean man steps back, creating distance, and says one word in English. "Help." The 3 men exchange glances, then retreat toward the side entrance with practiced efficiency, abandoning the operation. Danielle watches them disappear, pulse steady, mind already cataloging faces, gaits, the way the one on the right favored his left leg. Hotel security arrives. Questions fly. She deflects with the ease of someone who has managed crises in boardrooms across 4 continents. Apologizes for the mess. Offers to pay for damages. Creates just enough bureaucratic noise to make the incident seem like an accident. When the manager finally waves her off with a polite bow, she turns to find the Korean man still standing there, 5 feet away, studying her with an intensity that makes her recalibrate. "You shouldn't have done that," he says quietly, his English flawless but accented with soul precision. "Now you're a problem too." Danielle meets his gaze without flinching. "Then I guess we're both in trouble." He doesn't smile, doesn't thank her. Just hands her a business card, heavy stock, minimalist design, embossed gold lettering. Kyungrae Soh, CEO, Hanseong Group. "My office tomorrow, 9 a.m. He pauses, then adds, "Don't be late, and don't tell anyone what you saw tonight." Before she can respond, he walks away. No security, no entourage, just a man who moves through the world like he owns every inch of it, but trusts none of it. Danielle looks down at the card, then at the broken glass still glittering on the marble floor. She came to Seoul for a contract. She just saved a CEO from kidnapping, and she has no idea which of those 2 things will destroy her first. If you've come this far, you already know something shifted tonight. For her, for him, for you. Sometimes the best stories are the ones we don't see coming. Subscribe to stay with us as we unravel what happens when two people who trust no one are forced to trust each other. Because the real question isn't whether they'll survive the conspiracy, it's whether they'll survive each other. Danielle doesn't sleep. She spends the night in her hotel room with her laptop open, running background checks on Kyungrae Soh. Hansong Group, tech conglomerate, investment portfolio spanning semiconductors to luxury real estate, family-owned for 3 generations. Net worth estimated at $8 billion USD. Kyungrae Soh took over as CEO at 31 after his father's sudden death. Heart attack, the article said, though the timing felt convenient. No scandals, no weaknesses. A man built from marble and strategic silence. She finds one photo from 5 years ago. Kyungrae Soh at a charity gala, standing beside an elegant older woman in a modern hanbok. His mother, Kang Soo-jin, matriarch of the family. The caption identifies her as the real power behind Han Seong's board decisions. Danielle zooms in on Kyungrae Soh's face. Even in a tuxedo surrounded by champagne and spotlights, his expression is guarded. A man performing wealth, not enjoying it. She knows that look. She wore it for years. At 8:45 a.m., she walks into Hansong Tower, a glass and steel monument to corporate dominance in the heart of Gangnam. The lobby is all sharp angles and cold light, receptionists bowing at precise intervals, security scanning badges with military efficiency. Danielle gives her name. The receptionist's polite smile falters for half a second. Recognition, or perhaps warning, but she recovers quickly and gestures toward the executive elevator. 38th floor. Someone will meet you. The elevator rises in silence. When the doors open, a young woman in a white blouse and black pencil skirt stands waiting, hands folded, expression professionally neutral. Ms. Scott, I'm Min Ji-woo, Executive Secretary to CEO Kang. Her English is crisp, her gaze assessing. Please follow me. They walk through corridors lined with modern art and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul's sprawl. Ji-woo's heels click rhythmically against marble. She doesn't make small talk. Danielle respects that. At the end of the hall, Ji-woo opens a door to a conference room. Not Kyungrae Soh's office, Danielle notes. A neutral space. Strategic. CEO Kang will join you shortly, Ji-woo says, then pauses. May I offer tea? Coffee. Black. Ji-woo nods and leaves. Danielle sets her portfolio on the table and scans the room. No personal items. No photographs, just a single orchid on the credenza and a view of Namsan Tower in the distance. She's been in enough boardrooms to recognize the aesthetic. Wealth without warmth, power without personality. The door opens. Kyungrae Soh enters alone, no entourage, and the air shifts. He's different in daylight. Sharper, more contained. Navy suit, crisp white shirt, no tie. Hair combed back, revealing a face built for strategy, not charm. He closes the door and stands there for a moment, studying her the same way she studied his photo last night. You came, he says. You asked. I didn't ask. I instructed. His tone isn't rude. It's factual. Danielle leans back in her chair. Then, let me rephrase. You gave me an instruction I found interesting enough to follow. The corner of his mouth twitches, not quite a smile. He sits across from her, folds his hands on the table. Last night you intervened in something you didn't understand. I understood enough. Did you? He tilts his head slightly. 3 men, corporate security uniforms, 1 high-value target. You assumed abduction? Was I wrong? Silence. Then, no. Danielle waits. She learned years ago that silence is a negotiation tool more powerful than words. Kyungrae Soh exhales slowly. Someone inside Hansong hired them. I don't know who yet. But whoever orchestrated last night now knows I have an unpredictable variable, you. He leans forward. So tell me, Ms. Scott, who sent you to Seoul? She meets his gaze without flinching. A law firm. Anonymous client. Vague brief. Show me the contract. Attorney-client privilege. I'm not your client. Exactly. She pauses. Which means you don't get to see the contract until I know why I'm really here. For the first time, something flickers in his expression. Surprise, maybe respect. You're a crisis consultant, he says. You specialize in corporate espionage, hostile takeovers, reputation management. Someone hired you to solve a problem at Hanseong. He leans back. The question is whether you're here to save me or destroy me. Danielle doesn't answer immediately. Instead, she pulls out a slim folder from her portfolio and slides it across the table. Background check, she says. I ran it last night. Hansung Group, founded 1972, family-controlled, zero transparency in board decisions. CFO Park Min-gyu recently made 3 unexplained trips to Singapore, and your mother hasn't attended a public board meeting in 6 months. She taps the folder. Someone's planning a coup, and I think you already know that. Junseo's jaw tightens. He opens the folder, scans the pages, then looks up. If you already know this much, why are you here? Because last night you said I'm a problem now. I don't like being a problem, Mr. Kang. I like being a solution. She crosses her arms. So here's my offer. I help you find out who hired me, who tried to kidnap you, and who's planning to take Hanseong from the inside. In exchange, you give me full access, financials, board records, personnel files, everything. And if I refuse? Danielle stands, picks up her portfolio. Then I walk away, and you're alone again. Which, from what I saw last night, is exactly how you prefer it. She's halfway to the door when he speaks. Mrs. Scott. She stops but doesn't turn around. 9 a.m. tomorrow. Same room. Bring the contract. Now she looks back. Why? His expression is unreadable. Because if someone hired you to destroy me, I want to see their signature. Ji-woo is waiting outside the conference room when Danielle exits. Mrs. Scott. She hands her a sleek black keycard. Access to restricted floors. CEO Kang's instructions. Danielle takes it, surprised. That was fast. CEO Kang doesn't waste time. Ji-woo's expression remains neutral, but her eyes are sharp, assessing. If you need anything during your work here, contact me directly, not through reception. Understood. As Danielle walks toward the elevator, Ji-woo's voice stops her. Ms. Scott? She turns. Be careful. Ji-woo adjusts her glasses, a gesture so casual it almost seems rehearsed. Hanseong has eyes everywhere. Even the walls listen. Before Danielle can respond, Ji-woo bows politely and disappears down the corridor. The warning lingers. That evening, Danielle sits in a small cafe in Ikseon-dong, a neighborhood of restored Hanok buildings turned into modern boutiques and coffee shops. She orders an Americano and opens her laptop, reviewing the contract that brought her here. Client. Redacted. Objective. Corporate Audit and Strategic Consultation. Hansung Group. Duration. 30 days. Compensation. $250,000 used. No names. No specifics. Just a wire transfer and a lawyer's signature she can't trace. She's been in this business for 15 years. Anonymous clients aren't uncommon, but this level of opacity is dangerous. Someone wanted her in Seoul for a reason, and that someone knew exactly when to send her. 3 days before an attempted kidnapping. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. Rooftop. Hansong Tower. Midnight. Come alone. J. Danielle stares at the message. Every instinct tells her not to go. Midnight meetings, rooftops, men she barely knows. This is how consultants end up in body bags. But if she doesn't go, she'll never get answers. She types back. I'll be there. Hansong Tower at midnight is a different beast. The lobby is empty, lights dimmed, security rotating in silent shifts. Danielle uses the key card Ji-woo gave her. The elevator climbs to the 40th floor, executive suites, then stops. A narrow staircase leads to the rooftop access. She pushes open the steel door and steps into cold night air. Seoul sprawls below, a galaxy of light stretching toward the Han River. And standing at the edge, hands in his pockets, is Kyungrae Soh. He doesn't turn when she approaches, just keeps staring at the city. "Do you know what it's like?" he says quietly. "To build something your entire life and realize it's a prison?" Danielle stops a few feet away. "Yes." Now he looks at her. "You're not what I expected." "What did you expect?" "Someone more pliable." She almost laughs. "Then whoever hired me made a mistake." Kyungrae Soh turns fully to face her. "I had Ji-woo investigate you. Danielle Scott, 40 years old, born in Chicago, MBA from Wharton, 12 years at McKinsey before going independent. Specializes in crisis management and corporate warfare. Perfect record, until 8 years ago." Danielle's jaw tightens. "What happened 8 years ago is none of your business. You were engaged to a business partner. He sabotaged you during a crucial promotion, using personal information as leverage. You resigned, rebuilt your career alone, and never worked with a partner again." He pauses. "You don't trust anyone, Ms. Scott, which makes you either the perfect ally or the perfect weapon." She holds his gaze. "And you? You covered up your brother's drunk driving accident 10 years ago, paid off the victim's family, sent him abroad, built your empire on a secret that could destroy you." She steps closer. "So tell me, Mr. Kang, are you the perfect ally or the perfect liability?" The air between them crackles. Kyungrae Soh's expression doesn't change, but something flickers in his eyes. Surprise, anger, maybe respect. "How did you—" "I'm good at my job." Silence. Then he reaches into his jacket and pulls out a USB drive. This contains financial records someone tried to erase, offshore accounts, diverted funds, fake contracts. He holds it out. "I need you to trace where it leads. But if you take this, you become part of the conspiracy. There's no walking away." Danielle looks at the drive. This is the line. Cross it, and she's in too deep. She takes it. "Who gave this to you?" "Ji-woo. She's been gathering evidence for months without my knowledge." He exhales slowly. "I thought I was protecting this company alone. Turns out, I wasn't as alone as I believed. Why trust me with this?" Kyungrae Soh meets her eyes. "Because you have nothing to gain by betraying me. You're not family, not a board member, not someone who wants my position." He pauses. "You're just someone who, for reasons I don't understand yet, chose to intervene when you didn't have to." Danielle slips the drive into her pocket. "I'll need access to your CFO's office." "Done. And I want to meet your mother." His expression hardens. "No. Then we're done here." She turns to leave, but his voice stops her. "Why?" "Because," Danielle says without looking back, "every conspiracy has a matriarch, and I need to know if yours is protecting you or selling you out." The rooftop door closes behind her, leaving Kyungrae Soh alone with the city and a question he can't answer. Did he just hire his salvation or sign his own death warrant? Park Min-gyu's office is on the 35th floor. Danielle arrives at 7 a.m., early enough that most executives haven't clocked in yet. She uses the key card, slips inside, and closes the door behind her. The space is immaculate. Dark wood furniture, leather chairs, framed photos of Min-gyu shaking hands with politicians and CEOs. She moves quickly. Desk drawers, locked. Filing cabinet, locked. Computer, password protected. But people are predictable. She checks under the desk, finds a sticky note. PW, SGF 1972. Sloppy, arrogant, typical. The computer unlocks. She plugs in the USB Kyungrae Soh gave her and begins downloading files, emails, spreadsheets, encrypted documents. A program runs in the background, mapping his digital footprint. 5 minutes. That's all she has before security rotates past this floor. Her screen flashes. Match found. An email thread. Subject line. Transition plan, final approval. She clicks it open. The chain dates back 6 months. Names she recognizes. Min-gyu, a board member named Choi, someone listed only as JH, and a law firm. The same law firm that hired her. Her pulse spikes. She scrolls through the emails. Fragments of sentences, coded language, but the intent is clear. Neutralize current leadership. Secure international consultant for plausible deniability. Timeline, October. Execution, November. November, 3 weeks from now. One email stands out. Sent from Min-gyu to JH. The American arrives Thursday. Keep her occupied. She's insurance if the first plan fails. Danielle's blood runs cold. She's not here to solve a crisis. She's here to be the scapegoat. Footsteps in the hallway. Security patrol. She yanks the USB, shuts down the computer, and slips out through the side door just as a guard passes. Her heart pounds, but her hands stay steady. She's been played before. She won't let it happen again. 8 a.m. Danielle walks into Jun Seo's office unannounced. He's standing by the window, coffee in hand, reading something on his tablet. When he sees her, his expression shifts. Surprise, then wariness. "We need to talk," she says, closing the door. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Worse, I've seen the plan." She pulls out her laptop, sets it on his desk, and opens the downloaded files. "Your CFO is orchestrating a coup, 6-month timeline. Goal: remove you, install himself as interim CEO, restructure the board, and sell Hanseong's assets to a consortium of investors." Jun Seo's face goes pale. "Show me." She does. Every email, every transaction, every name. When he reaches the email about her, the American, his jaw clenches. "They hired you to be the fall guy," he says quietly. "Exactly. If the kidnapping succeeded, I'd be the foreign consultant who failed to prevent it. If it didn't, I'd still be useful. Evidence of your paranoia, proof that you're unfit to lead." She closes the laptop. "I was never meant to save you. I was meant to bury you." Jun Seo sets down his coffee. His hands are shaking, barely, but she notices. "Who's JH?" she asks. He's silent for a long moment. Then, "I don't know." "You're lying." His eyes snap to hers. "Excuse me?" "You know exactly who it is. You just don't want to say it out loud." She leans forward. "Because once you do, you'll have to admit that someone you trusted, someone close, is behind this." Jun Seo stands abruptly, walks to the window, stares out at Seoul. His voice, when he speaks, is barely audible. "My brother, Kang Jin-ho." Danielle's mind races. The younger brother. The one Jun Seo protected. The one he sent abroad after the accident. "He's back?" she asks. "He never left. Not really." Jun Seo's reflection in the glass is hollow. "I sent him to Singapore for business development, gave him a position, a salary, kept him away from the board. I thought I was protecting him." He laughs bitterly. "Turns out, I just gave him time to plan my destruction." "Why would he want to destroy you?" "Because I buried his mistake, and he spent 10 years resenting me for it." Jun Seo turns around. In his mind, I didn't save him. I trapped him. Danielle processes this. Family betrayal. The oldest story in the world, and the most effective. "We need to move fast," she says. "If Min-gyu knows I'm digging, he'll accelerate the timeline." "What do you suggest?" "We expose him first, publicly, at the next board meeting." She stands. "But we'll need proof he can't deny, and we'll need your mother on our side." Jun Seo shakes his head. "My mother will never go against Jin-ho. He's her youngest, her favorite. Then we don't ask for her permission." Danielle meets his eyes. "We force her to choose." The invitation arrives that afternoon via Ji-woo. "Kang Soo-jin requests your presence for dinner, tonight, 7 p.m., her residence." Danielle stares at the embossed card. She didn't request a meeting, yet here it is, perfectly timed. "She knows," Ji-woo says quietly. "About this morning." About the files. How? Jiwoo's expression is unreadable. She always knows. The Kang family estate is in Seongbuk-dong, an exclusive neighborhood where old money hides behind stone walls and centuries-old trees. Danielle is escorted through a traditional gate into a courtyard lit by paper lanterns. The main house is a blend of Hanok architecture and modern luxury, wooden beams, floor-to-ceiling glass, underfloor heating. A housekeeper leads her to a private dining room. Low table, silk cushions, a single orchid in a celadon vase, and seated at the head of the table, dressed in a charcoal gray hanbok with jade jewelry, is Kang Soo-jin. She's smaller than Danielle expected, barely 5'3", but the weight of her presence fills the room. Her gaze is sharp, assessing, the kind that dissects you before you sit down. Mrs. Scott. Her English is flawless, her tone polite but edged with steel. Please, sit. Danielle bows, a shallow dip, respectful but not subservient, and sits across from her. A server brings tea. Soo-jin pours it herself, a gesture Danielle recognizes as both hospitality and control. You've caused quite a disruption, Soo-jin says, handing her a cup. That wasn't my intention. Intentions rarely matter. Outcomes do. She sips her tea. You saved my son from an embarrassing incident. For that, I'm grateful. But gratitude has limits, Mrs. Scott. I'm aware. Are you? Soo-jin sets down her cup. You're a foreigner. You don't understand our world. In Korea, family is everything. Loyalty to family supersedes all else. Business, reputation, even truth. She pauses. You've been digging into Han Seong's affairs. You've accessed confidential files. You've inserted yourself into a situation you cannot possibly comprehend. Danielle meets her gaze. With respect, Mrs. Kang, I comprehend perfectly. Your youngest son is orchestrating a coup to remove your eldest. Your CFO is embezzling funds. And you've known about both for months. Silence. Soo-jin's expression doesn't change, but her eyes narrow. You're bold. I'll grant you that. I'm honest. There's a difference. In this house, honesty is a luxury we cannot afford. Soo-jin leans forward slightly. Let me be clear, Mrs. Scott. Jun Seo is brilliant, but he is also proud. He makes decisions based on principle, not pragmatism. That makes him vulnerable. She pauses. Jin-ho, on the other hand, understands power. He knows that sentiment is weakness. So you're choosing Jin-ho. I'm choosing Han Seong. Soo-jin's voice is cold. If Jun Seo cannot protect this company from internal threats, then he is not fit to lead it. And if Jin-ho is willing to take what Jun Seo cannot hold, then perhaps that is the natural order. Danielle's hands tighten around her teacup. You'd sacrifice your own son to preserve a company? I'd sacrifice anything. Soo-jin's gaze is unflinching. That's what it means to be a matriarch. The server brings food. Grilled fish, banchan, steamed rice. They eat in silence, the kind that hums with unspoken threats. Finally, Soo-jin speaks again. You care for him. Danielle looks up, surprised. Not romantically, Soo-jin clarifies. But you see something in Jun Seo worth protecting. I recognize it because I once felt the same way. She sets down her chopsticks. But let me give you a warning, Ms. Scott. Caring makes you predictable. And in this world, predictability is fatal. Danielle stands, bows. Thank you for dinner, Mrs. Kang. And for the warning. You're leaving? Yes, because I just realized something. Danielle meets her eyes one last time. You're not protecting Han Seong. You're protecting yourself. She walks out before Soo-jin can respond. Outside, standing by the courtyard gate, is Jun Seo. He looks at her, searching her face. What did she say? Danielle exhales slowly. She's not going to help us. I know. Then why did you let me go? Because I needed you to see what I've been dealing with my entire life. His voice is raw, stripped of its usual control. My mother doesn't love her children. She loves her legacy. And if we don't stop this coup, she'll let Jinho destroy me without lifting a finger. Danielle steps closer. Then we stop playing by her rules. How? She pulls out her phone, opens the file she downloaded earlier. We go public. Press conference, tomorrow. You announce the corruption, the embezzlement, the coup attempt, all of it. You expose Mingyu and Jinho before they can move against you. Junseo stares at her. If I do that, I'll destroy my family. Or, Danielle says quietly, you'll finally be free of them. The press conference is scheduled for 10 a.m. Hanseong's main auditorium. Full media presence. Business reporters, financial analysts, even international correspondents. Jiwoo coordinated everything overnight, her efficiency bordering on miraculous. Backstage, Junseo stands in front of a mirror, adjusting his tie. His hands are steady, but Danielle sees the tension in his shoulders. You don't have to do this, she says. He looks at her reflection. Yes, I do. If you expose Jinho publicly, your mother will never forgive you. I stopped seeking her forgiveness years ago. He turns around. But I need to know something, Ms. Scott. When this is over, when the dust settles and the damage is done, will you stay? The question catches her off guard. I'm a consultant. I don't stay. That's not what I asked. Their eyes meet. For a moment, the noise outside fades. It's just the two of them, standing in the wreckage of a plan that might save him or ruin him. I don't know, Danielle admits. Ask me again when we survive this. A faint smile touches his lips. Deal. Jiwoo appears at the door. They're ready for you, CEO Kang. He nods, takes a breath, walks toward the stage. Danielle watches from the wings as he steps up to the podium. Cameras flash. Microphones bristle. The room hums with anticipation. Junseo clears his throat. Good morning. Thank you for coming. I have an important announcement regarding Hansong Group's leadership in recent internal audits. He's calm. Controlled. Every word measured. But then, from the back of the room, a voice cuts through. Before you continue, CEO Kang, I have a question. Danielle's blood runs cold. Park Mingyu stands up, holding a tablet. His expression is cordial, but his eyes are predatory. Is it true, Mingyu says loudly, that you hired an unlicensed foreign consultant to conduct illegal audits of executive personnel? Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Junseo's jaw tightens. Ms. Scott is a licensed crisis management professional. Without authorization from the board. Mingyu taps his tablet. I have emails here proving that Ms. Scott accessed confidential files, violated data privacy laws, and fabricated evidence to discredit senior executives. He looks directly at Danielle. Including me. The room erupts. Reporters shout questions. Cameras swing toward Danielle. She steps forward, but Jiwoo grabs her arm. Don't, Jiwoo whispers urgently. He's baiting you, Mingyu continues. Furthermore, CEO Kang has been concealing financial irregularities for months, using Mrs. Scott as a scapegoat to deflect scrutiny from his own mismanagement. He holds up a document. I move for an emergency board vote to remove Kang Junseo from his position, effective immediately. Chaos. Junseo stands frozen at the podium. This was supposed to be his moment, his chance to expose the conspiracy. Instead, he's being tried in front of the world. Danielle's mind races. Mingyu knew. He knew they were planning this, which means someone tipped him off. Her eyes scan the room and land on a figure standing near the exit. Kang Soo-jin, watching, expressionless. Danielle's stomach drops. The matriarch didn't just refuse to help. She actively sabotaged them. On stage, Junseo finally speaks. His voice is low, but it carries. CFO Park. You're right. I did hire Ms. Scott without board approval, because I had reason to believe that someone within Hanseong was embezzling company funds and planning a hostile takeover. He pauses. and the evidence she uncovered points directly to you. Mingyu's smile falters. Junseo gestures to Jiwoo, who steps forward with a projector remote. The screen behind him lights up: bank statements, offshore accounts, email threads. These documents, Junseo says, show systematic diversion of Hanseong assets over the past 18 months. Shell companies in Singapore, fake consulting contracts, payments to individuals who don't exist. He looks at Mingyu. All authorized by you. The room goes silent. Mingyu's face reddens. This is fabricated. It's verified by 3 independent forensic accountants. Junseo's voice is steel. You stole from this company. You conspired to remove me, and you used my family's name to do it. For a moment, Mingyu says nothing. Then he laughs, a harsh, bitter sound. You think you've won? He looks around the room. You think exposing me will save you? He points at Junseo. Everyone in this room knows the truth. You're not a leader. You're a coward who's been hiding behind your father's legacy for a decade. That may be true, Junseo says quietly, but at least I'm not a thief. Security moves in. Mingyu is escorted out, still shouting, still defiant. The press explodes with questions. Junseo doesn't answer them. He just walks off stage, past Danielle, and out the side exit. She follows. She finds him on the rooftop again. Same place, same view, but this time, he's not standing at the edge. He's sitting on the ground, back against the wall, head in his hands. Danielle sits beside him, doesn't speak. After a long silence, he says, I just destroyed my family. You saved your company. Same thing. She doesn't argue, because he's right. My mother won't forgive this, he continues. Jin-ho will use it as ammunition. The board will fracture. Everything my father built. He trails off. Your father built a company on secrets and silence, Danielle says. You're building something different. What? Honesty? He laughs bitterly. Honesty doesn't win wars. No, but it lets you sleep at night. He looks at her. Do you sleep at night, Ms. Scott? She hesitates. Not often. Why? Because 8 years ago she trusted someone, loved someone, and he weaponized that trust to destroy her career. Because she rebuilt herself into someone who doesn't need anyone. And some nights, that loneliness is suffocating. But she doesn't say any of that. Instead, she says, because I'm still afraid of being wrong about people. Junseo nods slowly. So am I. They sit in silence. 2 people who've built fortresses so high they forgot what it's like to let someone in. Finally, Danielle speaks. What happens now? Now? Junseo exhales. Now we wait for the board to make their move. They'll call an emergency meeting. Vote on my removal. If I lose, he doesn't finish. And if you win, then I'll spend the rest of my life wondering who I can trust. Danielle stands, offers him her hand. You can trust me. He looks up at her, searching her face for the lie. But there isn't one. He takes her hand, stands. Why? He asks. Why are you still here? Because somewhere between the lobby and the rooftop, between the lies and the truth, she stopped seeing him as a client and started seeing him as someone worth fighting for. But she's not ready to say that either. So instead, she says, because I'm not done yet. The emergency board meeting is set for Monday, 3 days away. 72 hours to build a defense, secure allies, and prepare for corporate warfare. Danielle spends the weekend in Jiwoo's office, combing through every file, every email, every transaction. Jiwoo works beside her in silence, efficient and unshakable. Why are you helping him? Danielle asks at one point. Jiwoo doesn't look up from her laptop. Because 6 years ago, my mother worked for Hanseong. She was accused of embezzling funds she didn't steal. The evidence was fabricated by someone in upper management who needed a scapegoat. She was fired, blacklisted. She couldn't find work for 2 years. Danielle's chest tightens. Who did it? Park Min-gyu. Ji-woo's voice is flat. CEO Kang found out 3 years later. He couldn't reinstate my mother. She'd already passed away. But he hired me, gave me access to everything. Told me that if I ever found proof of Min-gyu's corruption, he'd support me. She finally looks up. So yes, I'm helping him. Because he's the only person in this company who ever told me the truth. Danielle nods slowly. I'm sorry about your mother. Don't be sorry. Just help me finish this. Sunday night. Danielle gets a text from Kyungrae Soh. My apartment. Midnight. We need to talk. She almost ignores it. Midnight meetings have become their pattern. Dangerous, intimate, impossible to walk away from. But she goes anyway. His apartment is in Hanam-dong, a penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the river. Minimalist furniture, no personal items. A space designed for living, not for life. He opens the door in a t-shirt and jeans, the most casual she's ever seen him. His hair is unstyled, his face tired. Come in, he says. She does. He pours 2 glasses of whiskey, hands her one. They stand by the window, watching the city breathe. I need to tell you something, he says. About the accident. Danielle's pulse quickens. You don't have to. Yes, I do. He takes a breath. I wasn't just in the car. I was driving. Jinho was drunk, and I told him I'd drive him home. But halfway there, he started a fight. Yelling, grabbing the wheel. I pulled over to make him stop, and he insisted he was fine to drive. Junseo's voice cracks. I gave him the keys. I let him drive. And 10 minutes later, he hit someone. Danielle doesn't speak, just listens. The victim was a college student, 22 years old. She died at the scene. He closes his eyes. I could have stopped him. I should have. But I was tired of fighting with him, so I let it happen. That's not the same as causing it, isn't it? He looks at her. I covered it up, paid the family, sent Jinho away, and I told myself I was protecting him. But the truth is, I was protecting myself. Because if the world knew what really happened, they'd know I was complicit. Danielle sets down her glass. Junseo, you made a mistake. A terrible one. But you didn't kill that girl. Jinho did. Then why does it feel like I did? Because guilt doesn't follow logic. Because responsibility and blame are different weights. She steps closer. Because you're not your brother. You feel things. You carry things. That's not weakness. That's proof you're still human. He looks at her like she just said something impossible. How do you do that? He asks quietly. Do what? Make me believe I'm not broken. Her throat tightens. Because I know what broken looks like. And you're not it. The space between them disappears. She doesn't remember who moved first, him or her. But suddenly they're inches apart, breathing the same air, standing on the edge of something neither of them planned. Danielle, he whispers. Her name. Not Ms. Scott. Danielle. And in that moment, she knows. This is the line. Cross it, and everything changes. She steps back. We can't. Why? Because when this is over, I leave. That's the deal. Then change the deal. I can't. Why not? Because 8 years ago she let someone in, and he destroyed her. Because trust is a blade, and she's been cut too many times. But she doesn't say that. Instead, she says, because I don't know how to stay. Junseo's expression shifts, hurt, then understanding. Then teach me how to let you go, he says. Danielle picks up her coat, walks to the door, pauses. When this is over, she says without turning around, ask me again. She leaves before he can respond. Monday, 9 a.m. The boardroom is a cathedral of glass and steel, 20 seats around a lacquered table, portraits of former chairmen lining the walls. Every board member is present. Every face is a mask. At the head of the table sits Kang Soo-jin, acting as interim chair. Junseo enters with Danielle and Ji-woo. Eyes follow them. Whispers ripple. CEO Kang, Soo-jin says, her tone formal. Please sit. He does. Danielle and Ji-woo remain standing behind him, silent sentinels. Soo-jin opens a folder. We are here to address 2 motions. First, the removal of Kang Junseo as CEO based on allegations of mismanagement and unauthorized activities. Second, the appointment of an interim CEO pending internal review. She looks around the table. Director Choi, you may begin. An older man in wire-rimmed glasses stands. Thank you, Chairwoman Kang. As outlined in the motion, CEO Kang's recent actions, including hiring unlicensed consultants, conducting unsanctioned audits, and making public accusations without board approval, demonstrate a pattern of reckless leadership. He pauses. For the stability of Hanseong, I recommend his immediate removal. Murmurs of agreement. Danielle's jaw tightens. This is a show trial. The verdict was decided before they walked in. But then Ji-woo steps forward. May I speak? Soo-jin's eyes narrow. This is a board matter, Ms. Min. With respect, Chairwoman Kang, I have evidence relevant to the discussion. She places a folder on the table. These documents show that Director Choi received payments from CFO Park Min-gyu, totaling $3 million over the past 2 years. Payments labeled as consulting fees for services that were never rendered. Silence. Choi's face goes pale. That's absurd. It's verified by bank records. Ji-woo's voice is calm, relentless. You weren't just complicit in the coup. You were paid to support it. The room erupts. Board members shout. Soo-jin bangs her gavel. Order! Junseo stands. I didn't want to do this. I wanted to believe that this board, this family, could be saved. But I was wrong. He looks around the table. Park Min-gyu didn't act alone. He had help. From people in this room. People who were supposed to protect Hanseong, not profit from its destruction. He nods to Ji-woo. She projects a new document onto the screen. A detailed financial map showing diverted funds, shell companies, and names. 3 board members' names are highlighted. These 3, Junseo says, conspired with Min-gyu to embezzle company assets and destabilize my leadership. They wanted me removed so they could install Jin-ho as a puppet CEO and liquidate Hanseong piece by piece. One of the accused board members stands. This is slander. It's evidence. Junseo's voice is ice. And if you vote to remove me, I will release it to the prosecution. All of you will be investigated. All of you will face criminal charges. Silence. Soo-jin's expression is unreadable. She looks at Junseo, then at the screen, then at the board members. Finally, she speaks. All in favor of removing CEO Kang, raise your hands. No one moves. She counts the silence. The motion fails. Relief washes over Danielle. They won. Against all odds, they won. But then Soo-jin adds, however, effective immediately, Hanseong will undergo a full external audit. CEO Kang will remain in his position, but under board supervision. She looks at him. You may have saved your title, Junseo, but you've lost your family. She stands and leaves. The board members file out one by one. None of them look at Junseo. When the room is empty, he sits back down. Exhausted, victorious, alone. Danielle places a hand on his shoulder. You did it. He doesn't respond. That night, Danielle books a flight. Incheon Airport. Departure, Thursday. Destination, New York. Her job is done. The coup is stopped. Junseo is safe. She has no reason to stay. But when she clicks confirm, her finger hesitates over the button. A knock at her hotel door. She opens it. Ji-woo stands there holding an envelope. This came for you, Ji-woo says. It was delivered to my desk this morning. Danielle takes it. No return address. Just her name, handwritten in elegant script. She opens it. Inside is a single photograph. Her. 8 years ago. Standing outside McKinsey's Chicago office with her ex-fiancé, both of them smiling. On the back, a message. You think you've won? You think you know the truth? You were brought here for a reason, Ms. Scott. And it wasn't to save Kang Jun-seo. Her blood runs cold. Ji-woo sees her expression. What is it? Danielle hands her the photo. Ji-woo's eyes widen. Someone's been watching you, Ji-woo says. For years. Not just watching, planning. Danielle's mind races. Whoever hired me didn't want me to stop the coup. They wanted me to be here, in Seoul, close to Jun-seo. Why? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. She cancels the flight. Danielle spends the next 2 days tracing the photograph's origin. The paper stock is European. The printing method is professional. The handwriting matches no one in Hanseong's records. But there's one detail she keeps coming back to. The photo itself. It was taken from across the street. High angle, telephoto lens, professional surveillance. Whoever took this wasn't an amateur. They were trained. She contacts a private investigator she's worked with before, someone who specializes in corporate espionage. Within 24 hours, he has a name. Robert Hayes. Her former mentor at McKinsey, the man who taught her everything, the man who vanished 3 years ago after being accused of insider trading, the man she thought she'd never see again. She calls Jun-seo. We need to meet. They meet at a quiet cafe in Samcheong-dong. Rain patters against the windows. The air smells like wet earth and roasted coffee. Danielle shows him the photo and the name. Robert Hayes, she says. He was my mentor. Brilliant, ruthless. He taught me how to read people, how to predict corporate moves. But 3 years ago, he was accused of manipulating stock prices using insider information. He disappeared before the trial. Jun-seo studies the photo. And now he's here, in Seoul. Not just here. He's been orchestrating this from the start. She pulls out her laptop, shows him a timeline. The law firm that hired me, it's a front. Registered in Singapore. Same city where Jin-ho has been operating. Hayes must have contacted him, offered to help him take down Hanseong, using me as the catalyst. Why you? Because he knows how I think. He trained me. He knew I'd investigate, uncover the coup, and force a public confrontation. She pauses. He wanted chaos, Jun-seo. He wanted you exposed, vulnerable, distracted. To what end? That's what I don't know yet. Jun-seo leans back. If Hayes is behind this, then Mingyu, Jin-ho, even my mother. They're all pawns. Exactly. Then we need to find him. Danielle nods. I already have. He's staying at the Shilla Hotel under an alias. I have surveillance photos. She slides a folder across the table. Inside, images of a man in his late 50s, silver hair, tailored suit, walking through Myeongdong with the confidence of someone who owns the city. Jun-seo's expression darkens. When do we confront him? Tonight. They don't confront him. Because at 3:47 a.m., Danielle's phone rings. Unknown number. She answers. Hello? Danielle. The voice is smooth, familiar, laced with amusement. I was wondering when you'd figure it out. Robert Hayes. She sits up in bed, heart pounding. What do you want? To talk. Face to face. Tomorrow, noon. In Seoul Tower observation deck. He pauses. Come alone. If you bring Kang, people will get hurt. You're bluffing. Am I? She hears a click. A photo notification hits her phone. It's Ji-woo, walking into her apartment building. Timestamp, 20 minutes ago. She's a lovely girl, very loyal. It would be tragic if something happened to her because you made the wrong choice. Danielle's blood runs cold. Don't you dare! Noon, Danielle, don't be late and don't test me. The line goes dead. She immediately calls Ji-woo. No answer. Tries again. Voicemail. Her hands shake as she dials Jun-seo. He answers on the first ring. What's wrong? Hayes just called. He wants to meet. and he's threatening Jiwoo. Silence. Then, I'm coming over. No, he said alone. I don't care what he said. Junseo, listen to me. Her voice cracks. If we don't play this carefully, he'll hurt her. He's been 3 steps ahead this entire time. We can't... Where's the meat? She closes her eyes, knows she can't stop him. Seoul Tower, noon. I'll have security watching from a distance. You wear a wire. We record everything. He'll check for that. Then we improvise. His voice softens. Danielle, you're not doing this alone. For once, she doesn't argue. Noon arrives wrapped in gray clouds and winter wind. Seoul Tower rises above the city like a steel needle, its observation deck offering a 360 view of Seoul's sprawl. Danielle takes the cable car up alone, her coat concealing a small recording device Jiwoo managed to slip her that morning, after confirming she was safe, just rattled by Hayes' surveillance. The observation deck is sparse, a handful of tourists, couples taking photos, and standing by the western window, hands in his pockets, is Robert Hayes. He looks exactly as she remembers. Silver hair, sharp suit, the kind of face that inspires trust before it destroys you. Danielle. He smiles. You look well. Seoul suits you. She doesn't return the smile. What do you want, Robert? Straight to business. I taught you that. He gestures to the view. Beautiful, isn't it? This city, built on hierarchy and ambition, so much like the corporate world we used to navigate together. We never navigated anything together. You manipulated. I cleaned up your messes. Is that what you tell yourself? He turns to face her fully. You were my best student, Danielle. Brilliant, ruthless when necessary. But you had one fatal flaw. Which was? You believed in justice. He says it like it's a disease. You thought if you played by the rules, worked hard, stayed loyal, you'd be rewarded. And then your fiancé betrayed you, took everything, and you finally understood. Understood what? That the only person you can trust is yourself. He steps closer. That's why I brought you here. Not to destroy Kang Junseo, to save you from making the same mistake twice. Danielle's chest tightens. You orchestrated all of this. The coup, the kidnapping attempt, hiring me to teach me a lesson? To remind you who you are. His eyes gleam. You're not a hero, Danielle. You're a survivor. And survivors don't risk everything for someone else's war. This isn't about survival. This is about control. She holds his gaze. You can't stand that I rebuilt my life without you, that I succeeded without your guidance. So you decided to prove I'm still broken. For the first time, his smile falters. You're wrong, he says quietly. I did this because I care about you. Because watching you fall for Kang's wounded CEO act is like watching you walk into the same trap that destroyed you 8 years ago. Junseo is nothing like David, isn't he? Another powerful man with secrets. Another situation where you're the outsider trying to fix what's unfixable. He shakes his head. You'll save him, Danielle, and then he'll move on. Because men like Kang don't end up with women like you. They end up with women who fit their world. The words land like blows. Because part of her, the part that still carries scars from 8 years ago, wonders if he's right. Why Jinho? She asks, changing the subject. Why help him betray his own brother? Because Jinho offered me something valuable, access to Hanseong's proprietary technology. Once the coup succeeded and he took over as CEO, I'd have insider information worth billions. Short the stock, manipulate the market, disappear before anyone connected the dots. He shrugs. Simple, elegant, profitable. And when I exposed Mingyu, I adjusted. That's what separates amateurs from professionals, Danielle. Flexibility. He checks his watch. But now we've reached the end game. You have a choice. Walk away. Leave Seoul. Leave Kang. I'll wire you $5 million. Enough to retire. Start fresh. Never look back. And if I refuse? His expression hardens. Then I release evidence that you fabricated the audit findings, that you manipulated data to frame Min-gyu. Your career ends, your reputation is destroyed, and Kang loses the only ally he has left. You can't prove that. I don't have to prove it. I just have to plant the doubt. He pulls out his phone, shows her a doctored email chain with her name on it. One click. That's all it takes. Danielle stares at the screen. It's flawless, professional, devastating. This is the trap, the real one. Not the coup, not the kidnapping. This. Choose herself or choose someone else. Choose safety or choose risk. Choose the fortress she built or tear it down. She looks at Robert Hayes, the man who taught her never to trust anyone, and realizes something. He's terrified that she might actually prove him wrong. You know what I learned after David betrayed me? She says quietly. I learned that the worst thing you can do after being hurt isn't to close yourself off. It's to let fear decide every choice you make for the rest of your life. She steps closer. You're not trying to save me, Robert. You're trying to prove that everyone is as broken as you are. His jaw tightens. I'm not taking your money. I'm not leaving Seoul. And I'm not letting you destroy Kyungrae. She pulls out her phone, taps the screen. Also, you've been recorded for the past 11 minutes. Every word, every threat, every admission. His face goes pale. Security is already on their way, she continues. Kyungrae's legal team has copies of the recording. And by tonight, the prosecution will have enough evidence to charge you with conspiracy, extortion, and corporate espionage. For the first time in her life, she watches Robert Hayes lose control. You stupid, sentimental fool, he hisses. You just destroyed yourself for a man who will never choose me? She smiles. Maybe. But at least I'll know I chose myself first. The version of me that isn't afraid to trust again. Security arrives. Hayes is escorted out, still shouting, still convinced he's right. Danielle watches him go. Then she turns to find Kyungrae standing near the elevator, Ji-woo beside him. He walks toward her slowly, searching her face. You okay? He asks. She nods. Yeah, I am. The aftermath unfolds swiftly. Robert Hayes is arrested. Jin-ho, realizing his partner is gone, flees to Singapore, but is detained at the airport. The remaining board members who conspired with Min-gyu resign quietly to avoid prosecution. Han-seong stabilizes. And through it all, Danielle works beside Kyungrae, restructuring leadership, implementing transparency protocols, rebuilding what was broken. But something shifts between them. The urgency is gone. The crisis that forced them together has passed. And now they're left with something harder. Choice. 1 week after Hayes' arrest, Kyungrae calls Danielle to his office. Your contract ends tomorrow, he says. I know. Ji-woo already processed your final payment, plus a bonus for everything. Thank you. Silence. He stands, walks to the window. My mother wants to meet with you. She says she owes you an apology. Danielle raises an eyebrow. Kang Soo-jin doesn't apologize. She does when she's wrong. He turns around. She knew about Jin-ho's plan from the beginning. She thought if she let it play out, I'd prove I was strong enough to survive it. Or I'd fall, and Jin-ho would take over. He pauses. She didn't expect you. None of you did. No, we didn't. He steps closer. Danielle, when you walked into that lobby and broke up that kidnapping, you didn't just save me from those men. You saved me from believing I had to do everything alone. Her throat tightens. I don't know how to do this, he continues. I don't know how to ask someone to stay without making it sound like an obligation. I don't know how to trust without waiting for the betrayal. But I know that every day you've been here, I've felt less like a CEO and more like myself. Danielle looks at him. This man who carries so much weight, who hides so much pain behind strategic silence. Kyungrae, she says quietly. I came to Seoul to do a job, and then I stayed to finish what we started. But if I stay now, it can't be because you need me. It has to be because I choose to. I understand. Do you? She steps closer. Because I spent 8 years building walls, and you're asking me to tear them down. That's terrifying. I know, because I'm asking the same of myself. They stand there, inches apart, 2 people on the edge of something neither can control. What if it doesn't work? She whispers. Then at least we tried. He reaches for her hand. Danielle, I'm not asking you to stay forever. I'm asking you to stay for tomorrow, and then we'll figure out the day after that. She looks down at their hands, his scarred from years of holding everything together, hers steady from years of letting nothing in. And for the first time in 8 years, she chooses risk over safety. Okay, she says, tomorrow. He smiles, a real one this time. 3 months later, Danielle stands in Incheon Airport, watching the departure board flicker with destinations: New York, London, Singapore. She has a ticket, business class, one way. A consulting firm in Manhattan offered her a position. Senior partner, full autonomy, 7 figures. Everything she worked for. Everything she thought she wanted. But as she stands there, suitcase in hand, she realizes something. She doesn't want to go. Not because she's afraid. Not because she needs Kyungrae, but because for the first time in her life, she's built something worth staying for. Ms. Scott. She turns. Kyungrae stands 20 feet away, hands in his pockets, expression unreadable. What are you doing here? She asks. I came to say goodbye. Her chest tightens. Kyungrae, wait, let me finish. He walks closer. 3 months ago, you asked me what happens when the crisis ends, when there's no emergency forcing us to work together, no conspiracy to solve. He stops in front of her. And I told myself that if you chose to leave, I'd respect it. I'd let you go. Because that's what you do when you care about someone. You let them choose. I know. But I didn't come here to let you go. His voice is raw, stripped of every defense. I came here to tell you that I don't want you to stay because you feel obligated, or because you're afraid of being alone. I want you to stay because you choose me. Every day, the same way I choose you. Danielle's eyes sting. This is the worst timing for a speech. I know, but you're about to get on a plane. She looks at the departure board, then at her ticket, then at him. I got offered a partnership, she says. In New York. Everything I thought I wanted. You should take it. I should. But? She smiles through tears. But I don't want to. His expression shifts. Hope, disbelief, something close to joy. Danielle Scott. He steps closer. Are you telling me you're staying? I'm telling you I'm choosing. She drops her suitcase. I'm choosing tomorrow. And the day after that. And maybe if we don't screw this up, a lot of days after that. He closes the distance between them, cups her face in his hands. We're probably going to screw this up. Probably. And it's going to be terrifying. Definitely. But you're still staying? She leans her forehead against his. I'm still staying. And then he kisses her. Not like a CEO, not like a man performing wealth or strategy. Just like someone who finally stopped hiding. The airport moves around them. Announcements echo. Travelers rush past. But in that moment, they're standing still. 2 people who spent years building fortresses, finally choosing to tear them down. Together. Fakerwam. Epilogue. The woman who finally trusted. 6 months later, Danielle sits in Hansung's renovated boardroom. New leadership, new policies, transparency protocols, independent audits, everything she and Kyungrae built from the ashes of the coup. Jiwoo is now Director of Corporate Integrity, a position Danielle created specifically for her. Kang Soo-jin retired from the board, but occasionally attends meetings as an advisor, her relationship with Kyungrae slowly thawing from ice to something resembling respect. Min-gyu and the conspirators faced prosecution. Jin-ho accepted a plea deal, and is serving a reduced sentence in exchange for testimony against Hayes, who is awaiting trial in Singapore. And Danielle? She started her own consultancy, based in Seoul, specializing in corporate ethics and crisis prevention. Her first client, Hansung Group. Her second, a dozen others who heard about the woman who took down a chaebol conspiracy. But tonight isn't about work. Tonight, she and Kyungrae Soh are standing on the rooftop of Hanseong Tower, the same place they stood 6 months ago. Two strangers trying to decide if they could trust each other. "Do you ever regret it?" he asks. "Staying?" She looks at him. "Every time you steal the blankets." He laughs. "I'm serious." "So am I." She smiles. "But no. I don't regret it. Do you? Regret trusting you?" "Never." He pulls something from his pocket, a small box. Her heart stops. "Kyungrae Soh? Relax, it's not a ring." He opens it. Inside, a piece of glass, polished smooth, set in a silver frame. "The shard from the lobby, the night you saved me." She stares at it. The glass that started everything. "I had it made into a pendant," he says, "because you taught me that broken things can become something beautiful. If you're willing to hold them carefully." Tears prick her eyes. "That's the most sentimental thing you've ever said." "I'm trying." She takes the pendant, runs her thumb over the smooth surface. "Thank you, Danielle." He takes her hand. "I know we said we'd take this one day at a time, but I need to tell you something." "What?" "I'm done taking it one day at a time. I want every day. All of them. With you." She looks up at him. This man who was once a stranger, then a client, then something she never expected. Someone she trusts. "Okay," she whispers. "Every day." He kisses her, soft and certain, while Seoul glows below them like a constellation. And for the first time in 40 years, Danielle Scott isn't afraid of trusting someone. Because she finally learned the difference between trusting blindly and trusting bravely. The first is naivety. The second is a choice. And she chooses him. Every single day. At 40, she thought trust was a weakness she'd outgrown. He thought control was the only way to survive. But sometimes, the most dangerous thing you can do isn't opening your heart. It's keeping it locked forever. They didn't find safety in each other. They found the courage to risk everything. And maybe, in a world built on suspicion and strategy, that's the real revolution. Not falling in love despite the danger, but choosing it because of it.